Well, first of all, congratulations. You've been in situ for, a couple of weeks now. How's it been?
It's been a great first couple of weeks. Obviously, when you come into a new club, new job on the Tuesday with an away game on the Saturday, that first week, first few days can feel like a bit of a whirlwind. There's a lot to get your head around, a lot of new names and faces. But then to finish that first week with an away win, an away 4-0 win and good performance, obviously couldn't really have asked for a much better start.
Yeah, a great start and a career, a long time in the planning. Have you always wanted to be a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a number of years, learning my trade as a coach and studying. And when I was doing that, pretty much all through my 20s in the academy at Chelsea in various different age groups, it was in a head coach role. So I got used to sort of thinking and acting and planning like a head coach on a day-to-day basis. So it's something that I have been thinking about for a long time.
You worked under Mourinho, Lampard, Thomas Tuchel. You worked with the FA and the under-20s recently as well. What have you taken from all of those people that you've worked under and with?
Yeah, well, the irony of Chelsea, obviously, it's a difficult place for managers with the high rate of turnover of managers. But for those of us that were sort of working underneath them, that always had great access to watch training and be around the environment, it meant that we were lucky in a way that we got to see so many different top managers working. I saw them win, so I saw that there's definitely different ways of winning. But equally, you see environments that have go from winning to being difficult environments where change needs to happen. I think good coaching at its best is understanding how you can make the best of the group you've got and potentially move it forward in time. And that's what I want to do here. I want to do a good job of getting the best out of this Millwall group.
You were close with Frank. You went to Everton with him as his assistant manager. How have those experiences shaped you? I mean, that was a difficult time to be at Everton.
The people around Everton were fearful for the consequences of relegation, and rightly so. And having to go in every day and sort of really try and bring that energy to the environment, that was something I hadn't experienced before and definitely had to do. And I think we did it well. I think Frank did an unbelievable job at connecting everyone. That was a club that when we arrived, it was in disarray in terms of the feeling more than anything, not just the stuff off the pitch or the performances on it. But the way Frank connected the squad and the staff in the building, but then connected with the fans, we saw the outcome of it and that final evening when we stayed up. That was a massive experience, and it's certainly something that I'll bring to this job, because I know how powerful the fan base can be for this club. I know how passionate they are about this team, and I know that it won't always be straightforward on the pitch. You
mentioned Frank there, and from the outside, there has been quite a bit of criticism for him and the way that things ended up at Everton. Do you think that he gets treated more harshly than other managers that have recently been in the game?
I mean, it's obvious to feel that I'm biased because he's a good friend of mine, but certain elements of criticism that I've seen, I do feel that. When I look at the jobs he's done, that breakthrough year of not only achieving top 4 and an FA Cup final under Frank, but bringing through the likes of Tammy and Reece and Mason, lads that are now kind of household names. Frank was the one that had to put them in and make that decision. Honestly, working side by side, having also seen what excellence and winning looks like in other coaches, I've got no doubt that Frank can be one of the top coaches and managers in the game. And if anything, if there was one thing out of this sort of exciting new chapter for me that is kind of bittersweet in a way, is that I would have loved to have had another opportunity to share that with Frank, because I think he deserves a good opportunity.
What does a Millwall Joe Edwards side look like in the future?
Like all my teams, I would hope that people watch us and see a team that's good with the ball. So what I mean by that is, obviously championship games are very intense, often quite aggressive and unpredictable. I would like people to see a Millwall team that are comfortable and capable of taking the sting out of games and having control in games by looking after the ball well, but equally having a clear idea in attack. We want to be a team that regularly attacks so that it's exciting for the players to play and it's exciting for the fans to watch, which I think we have got that fan base, particularly in home games, where we could generate a real energy. But as I said, knowing that not every game can be like that. You can't just say, okay, every game we want to have 70% of the ball, create more chances than the opponent. I think context is key. You've got to understand what you've currently got in your group and what they're used to. What are the real traditions and values of the club, and also where you're at in relation to the level of competition.
Obviously, the club just missed out on the playoffs last season. Have you set yourself any targets for this campaign?
To be honest, no. We spoke about the fact that we're clear. When I say we, the club, the board, the owner, we're clearly looking to move in a different direction here. We know that part of that could mean that it could be a bumpy ride at times. That's not to set our standards low. It could be a bumpy ride, but the biggest sort of measure of success for us will be when we start progressing further into this. Are we sitting together saying, is this looking like what we wanted it to look like? Does the plan seem to be coming to fruition? But of course, when you come so close in one season, you want to follow it up. You've got no right to. We've seen so many examples of teams that, even at the higher level, where teams get to a Champions League final or win. I've seen teams win Premier Leagues and five months later the manager gets sacked. So I think where you finish off in May, football moves quickly. It has absolutely no sort of impact on what you're going to do the next season. So it's kind of a clean slate in a challenging way for the squad, but also in a positive way. Let's see where we can take it.